I don't know, in February, March, we were able to go through the level to arrive really semi-finals, finals, require better performance than today. That's for sure. I know, I've been in semi-finals, finals, Champions League many times, and I know what is being required to compete and even at the stages.
Can this team make that progress this season?
Yeah, definitely. It can. If no injuries, it will happen, yeah, for sure, 100%. We have the will to do it. The manager is so clever, so that's why we do it.
So, Charlie Austin, good morning to you, my friend. Pep Guardiola saying that Manchester City are not Champions League contenders yet. Do you agree with that? What needs to improve if not?
I kind of understand what he's saying. It needs to be better than the performance that they showed last night. Listen, they won at the Bernabeu. But the semi-final finals, not now. It's just about getting through to the group stages. Look, the performance, they've gone there, they've won. Their main man has scored again, regardless of being a penalty. He was a nuisance all night. And overall, I thought it was a good away performance.
So, do you get the impression, though? I mean, look, you look at the Premier League table, they're 2 points off Arsenal. There'll be some City fans out there, and we'll speak to one shortly. I'm not sure what Nobbin's view is. We'll find out. But that say, look, they're just not their fluid best of what they were at 2 years ago. Definitely an improvement on last season.
Well, that's what I was saying to you earlier. Like, it's an improvement on last season. But, as you look at it, you do have to think they're going... People say they're going about their business quietly, but they're just doing what City do. Pick up points when others drop. They go about their business. They've got the best manager in world football. They've got the best number 9 in world football. And like I said, if he can keep all his players fit, injury-free, then they will be at the back end of every competition they're in.
A shining light this season has got to be Nico O'Reilly, hasn't it? 20 years old, Charlie. He's not a left-back. He came through the academy at Manchester City as a number 10. And somehow Pep has got him into the team. I mean, he's got 2 fullbacks that are attacking midfielders, but it's working for him, isn't he? Playing for England, first Champions League goal, he scores it at the Bernabeu. How good is he and where is his ceiling, do you think?
Well, I think he's had a phenomenal start to the season, but also I think that goes in the belief that the manager has in him. Like you say, he come through the academy as a number 10, but he's playing him in a fullback area, and it's like, that's a belief. I trust you to perform out of position, perform on the highest stage, perform week in, week out the Premier League. He got his first Champions League goal last night. And like you say, English, we're not blessed in them positions. And there's every chance he continues to play, he's going to go to the World Cup.
And bearing in mind that City signed Ryan Ait-Nouri, and everyone just thought that's going to be City's left-back for the next 5 years.
Well, everyone did, because what he was doing at Wolves was phenomenal, and people assumed that he should be playing for a better club. City took him, and everyone expected him to go through. Went to the Club World Cup, and it didn't really kind of work out for him there. But for me now, I kind of look at it and go, he cemented his place. Nico O'Reilly cemented his place in the City starting 11 because he has the trust and the belief for the manager, and he trusts his own ability. And then the knock-on for that is the goal part at the end, which is the World Cup.
Yeah. Well, look, we know Manchester City can score goals. We know Erling Haaland can score 50 goals a season for Manchester City. But defensively, are there still question marks? And look, maybe not the best week to bring it up in terms of they've won at the Bernabeu, they've kept a clean sheet in the Premier League against Sunderland. But I'm thinking even back to just the Leeds game, 2-0 up, they get through that in the end. The game at Craven Cottage I was at where they were 5-1 up and it finished 5-4.
Yeah, but the way I see it, they still won the game. I know he's talking about the defensive vulnerabilities in them certain games, but they still won. They've done enough to be in front of the opposition by a number of goals, and they couldn't claw it back. Regardless, the ascendancy's on, the momentum's with the opposition team. They get it back, they beat Leeds, and listen, there was 5-1 up against Fulham, but it was on, they was scoring it, and all the confidence was flowing through every Fulham player and all the fans in the stadium. But ultimately, look, they won. Do they need to improve in that area, and would they like a few more clean sheets? Yes, of course. Every team in the Premier League would.
Yeah.
But City are going about their business like we would expect.
Charles, I'm going to anoint you the Real Madrid president. What are you going to do with Xabi Alonso right now?
But he stays. He stays for me. Look, you'd expect them to qualify in the Champions League. You do, for whether it's automatic or through the blood. Regardless, I think they're going to qualify. They're still in the run for La Liga. Of course they are, but Barcelona are going strong. He stays for me. The biggest thing is, though, is it a manager they've employed or a coach? Because we talk about Bayer Leverkusen, the job he done there, he coached them players. But the players at Real Madrid, yes, they want to be coached, of course, but is it better for a manager to just almost guide them more than trying to coach them?
I mean, you know what it's like, Real Madrid. It's a different beast, isn't it? And there's a lot of heat on him, despite him being a legend at the football club and winning trophy after trophy. You lose at home to Celta Vigo. You win 2 games in 8. That just doesn't come without fire at Real Madrid.
But before we get on to that bit, I think that comes without fire if you're a manager of any... Pep did that at Man City. Ruben Amorim does that at Manchester United. Slot does that at Liverpool. There's going to be fire. But Real Madrid, the expectations there, they win every week. They don't lose. They're the best team in the world, the biggest club in the world football. So, look, their performances of late have not been great. But do I expect Real Madrid to turn it around? Absolutely. And Xabi Alonso to be in charge? Yeah, I do believe he still does.
They were out without so many first-team players, weren't they? I think, 6, 7... I mean, particularly the back, I think Rudiger was the only starter in the back four that they had last night in terms of what they've got available normally. And we should say, they're only 4 points off Barcelona. They've still got a Clasico to come. And they're in the top 8 in the Champions League table. So
what more can you ask for? They're in the top 8. If they was above Barcelona, that was it. But like you said, they was with injuries last night. Mbappe not playing is a massive, massive myth. Mbappe plays for any team in the world that he doesn't play, he's going to be a massive miss. So, look, they was under the cosh, I guess, at times. But as you look at it, do I think Real Madrid are still going to qualify in the Champions League? Yes. Do I still think they're going to run the La Liga title right to the end? Yes, I do. And can he turn it around? I do believe so for the players he's got available to him.
Yeah. Next up, Alaves. Loser Alaves. Different questions, weren't there?
There will be different questions, but you can't. I wouldn't imagine so. I wouldn't have thought so.
You wouldn't have thought. No. You wouldn't have thought Celta Vigo would come to the.
No,
Bernabeu.
you wouldn't. But Real Madrid have got the same old thing as they're going to turn it around. They're going to turn it around, and right. So, but like I said, the players they have available, maybe some of them got to step up as well. It can't just be on the manager.
Yeah. Right. Sky Sports, as you know, have partnered with Finalysis, an app where passionate fans share their opinions on their club, and if you want to represent your club, scan the QR code, visit the Sky Sports app for more details, and we can speak right now to, as I promised, Manchester City fan Nobbins. A very good morning to you, Nobbins. Good to see you again. So come on, what's your view? You watch a lot of City, you watch every minute of Manchester City this season. Pep saying that if you play like you did last night, even with a win at the Bernabeu, in the knockout stages, you won't be contenders. Do you agree with him?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of room for improvement. I think that we saw how relatively easy Madrid were able to play through our press. If you're pressing with Foden, Haaland as your two strikers and then Bernabeu behind, there's no surprise that you get to the midfield and it's Nico Gonzalez all on his own trying to lock down the midfield up against Real Madrid's really dangerous counter-attacking players. I think there is still a fair bit of naivety in this relatively new City side. There's still a long way to go, but Pep did say himself that there's a chance that we get to the latter stages in February of this season and we could still have a really good chance. So I think that hopefully just comes down to experience and just getting used to this relatively new structure that we've been using since, I'm going to say, early November. So it's still early days, I would say, in that sense.
Nobbins, how far, though, do you think Manchester City are off what we are used to seeing from them?
I think maybe we're not going to see what we would expect City to be until next season, to be honest. I do think we need certainly a Bernardo Silva replacement once he leaves. I think that Nico G needs a bit more protection. I think that perhaps another option at fullback as well. So there's definitely room for improvement this year. But as for the really high expectations of what we know City can be, I would expect perhaps another summer transfer window with one starter, maybe another one.
Yeah, but Norwich, you say that, right, and what you're used to Man City being, what everybody's seen over the last few years have been phenomenal, and can they reach the heights of that again? It'll be interesting to see if they can. I don't think they will. Do I think they'll reign again? Yes, I do. But do I think they'll get to the heights that they was? They was phenomenal. But as you look at it now, if you're saying they're not going to get there, are you saying that they're not going to catch Arsenal?
That's not the same at all. No, they can still win the title this season. Look, we aren't the favourites, and there's no shame in accepting that and admitting that. Arsenal are definitely the favourites. There's no doubt. I think I was on this show like a couple of weeks ago, and I was asked, "Is the title race already over?" When the points gap was like 7, and I said, "Well, that's just 2 draws, and then there's only one result in it, and they've got to come to the Etihad." So City can catch Arsenal. This isn't. I know Arsenal have been great this season, but they still haven't won the title yet. So there's always that little question mark with, will they just capitulate once again, and can City be there at the right time to pounce? So as long as we're there come around February, then City have a great chance to do that this season as well.
Yeah, look, Nobbins, like you, I watch a lot of Manchester City, right? And I was at the Leeds game, and Good. I was at Craven Cottage, right? And I just get the impression, maybe like a lot of City fans, that there isn't that confidence that even 2-0 up against Leeds at home, that you think, right, that's it, come on, see the game out, think, just get it over the line like City have done so many times over the last few years under Pep Guardiola. Leeds get back into the game. Dominic Calvert-Lewin was exceptional. The only reason they won that game is the board went up and it said 10 minutes for added time, and the Leeds players saw it and thought, blimey, we can't get through this. And look, the Craven Cottage game was crazy as well. I know there was a clean sheet against Sunderland, but do you get my point? It almost feels like a bit of a throwback to sort of Kevin Keegan football, where it's like we'll score 5, but maybe if we let in 4, and maybe it doesn't matter if you're winning games. I don't know. How do you see it?
Yeah, I do think that generally speaking, City's defensive issues have been a little bit blown out of proportion. Like, we do have one of the best defensive records in the league and the Champions League, but I totally take your point that if we aren't going to win the title this season, it will be because of defensive frailty, certainly compared to Arsenal anyway. I think that the key in the Fulham second half and the Leeds game was the lack of control in that second half. The other teams came onto us, they pressed a bit more, they became more intense, and we weren't able to deal with it. It was very nice to see that for the most part against Sunderland and indeed against Real Madrid second half, we were able to control the game a little bit better than those performances. So, as I was saying earlier, this is still a relatively new City side. I'm sure this will come with time and experience and a bit more maturity as well from some of these players.
But come on, Nobbins, before we let you go, just very quickly, come on, how many points are you going to win the title by ahead of Arsenal then?
Oh, it'll go to the last day of the season, that's for sure.
Last day of the season?
Yeah, why not? Come on. We want an exciting race, though. If I say it's over like 2 months ago, then Sky loses viewers. So I'm doing you guys a favour by saying it's going to go down to the
Charlie,
last day of the season.
last day of the season, City in it?
No. No, straight to the point, no. No, I'm not. But on your defence, on your frailties that you're talking about defensively, look, they've gone to the Bernabeu, done enough, won the game.
Yeah.
Played Leeds, done enough, won the game. Played Fulham, done enough, won the game.
It doesn't matter if you win, does it?
So what? I don't really know what the panic or the. I think at times you try and pick faults out of City because majority of the times they are faultless.
Yeah. Nobbins, good call. Thank you very much. Speak soon, mate.